Talking about artisanal or specialty coffee. Can we have a big round of applause for Kelvin?
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kelvin. I've been in a company for in the coffee business for the past 12 years. So today I'm going to share with you a little bit about my coffee journey. Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me? All right. So today I'm going to share with you my coffee journey, my artisanal coffee journey. You know, like coffee is quite popular these days. It's probably the first thing we drink in the morning before we go to work, and probably a few more cups during the day before we sleep. So, anyone knows where coffee came from? The first coffee plant, coffee seed? Anyone? You get a free bag of coffee, you answer correctly. Okay, for you guys that doesn't know where coffee came from, well, the story goes that it's originated from Ethiopia. During the days of the 6th century, there is a goat herder named Kaldi. So he noticed one of his goats eating some cherries from the bushes. So after eating the cherries from the bushes, so he noticed his goat was getting very jumpy, very excited. So basically he tried the cherries himself. So he himself got quite excited, very energized, and upon his finding, he took some of these cherries to a nearby monastery, a Sufi monk monastery, and he presented it to some of the monks. That, this cherry that you eat can help you with your meditation, with your prayers, you stay awake. So basically, some of the monks discard his findings and threw the cherries into a fire. And what happened after that was the smell and aroma of the coffee was so strong that they started to take notice of this very invigorating aroma. That's how coffee was eventually founded. But if it's not for a little curious goat that ate the cherries, coffee would not have been founded. So after that, the coffee story went to the Middle East, went to Europe, subsequently throughout the world. So today, a little bit on the story, my story, is that I started work in Coffex, founded in Malaysia and Australia, back in 1959. But I really started work in 1998. That's about quite a few years ago. During those days, coffee is all about just coffee, something people drink, but never would have thought that coffee would become what it is today. It's more or less close to a religion. Not people really buying really fantastic stuff, looking at traceability of coffee. Now it's quite really artisanal. All right. Coffee nowadays has become a religion so strong that people want to know more. So the more they know, the more backward they're trying to find. So it goes down to the farm itself. There are currently more than 170 species of Arabica coffee in the world. Right? And typically, they're all different because the coffees thrive differently from different climates, weather, conditions, soil, and it changes accordingly until every coffee from different source has its own distinct little flavors, distinct little aromas. It's quite interesting. Right here we have, Ethiopia, since we find out that coffee originated from, we have one of the heirloom coffee here for you to try today. It's called Ethiopian Galena. Why is it heirloom? Because it's from the original tree that first coffee was discovered. So today we have Joseph here. Later we'll be brewing some pour-overs. Joseph is also a very good barista. They can do fantastic latte art. I think he'll show you some after that when you're out there. There are a couple of different processes for coffee. Quite distinctive, there are sun-dried coffee, which the cherry is stripped from a tree, the ripe cherry is stripped from a tree, and it goes through a sun-drying process. what the sun drying process does is that before we break apart the cherry to expose the parchment, the entire cherry goes through sun drying method. So what the sun drying method does is that all the sweetness from the juice within the cherry is being absorbed by the parchment and it goes to drying phase. So the coffee will come up very, very berry-like, very jammy-like, very rich and intense sweetness to it. So the Ethiopian today is sun-dried. Then the next process is a pulp natural. A pulp natural is when you take a cherry, you break open, you pulp it, and you expose the two parchment, and it goes to sun drying. So the third one is a wash method. So the wash method is what commonly found in a lot of countries in Central America, Ethiopia, Kenya. Their wash method is easier to process. What they do is they break open a pulp, they wash it with water, and then go to a sun-dry bed. And what the washed coffee tastes like, they're a bit clearer, they have better clarity, higher acidity. So from a sun-dried coffee, which is very heavily bodied, very jammy, to a natural coffee, which has got notes like honey, caramel, malt, to a washed coffee that's more floral and it's more clear. So it's quite distinct, 3 different types of coffee. So today, Joseph will show how to do a pour over properly while he's explaining. And Joseph, take it off.
Alright, sure. Hi, good day everyone. So today I would like to introduce you to a technique of pour over, which is very famous in Korea, Japan, and also Taiwan. So today, this pour over.
A pour over coffee, you'll achieve a lot of clarity and a lot of natural sweetness from the coffee. What's critical here is the temperature is important. Right, how do we determine the temperature? Is depend what you're looking for. The lower the temperature, you achieve more acidity. The higher the temperature, you achieve more body. So depending what you like in a cup, so the temperature we do accordingly will determine what the outcome will be. What's the temperature you brewing today?
The temperature I'm brewing today is at 87 degrees. So
87 is in fact on the lower side of the brew temperature. It can range from 86 to typically about 92.
Okay, so this is the bean today. I'll be showing. Is an Ethiopian Kalina Abaya. I put it at around 25 grams to get around 6 ounces.
One of the requirements for specialty coffee is that you need to have fresh coffee, and you probably just before you use it, you grind it just before you use it, so that you want to achieve maximum freshness.
Okay, so here's the coffee ground, and now before I start brewing, I'm gonna heat up the server as well as the dripper. Okay. So after that, I'm going to put a coffee ground into the dripper. I just get it a bit lower. Okay, now I will start brewing. The brewing time is around 3 minutes, within 3 minutes, and you can get your coffee done. So this is, you can call it a very technical and also very easy to brew. So you can make it at home whenever you want it. So I'm going to start brewing now. There's a total of 4 stages of brewing, pouring this hot water. The first stage here, I call it a pre-infusion, which I damp the coffee around 30 seconds to get the aroma out. Okay, here comes the next one.
This coincidentally is also one of my favorite brewing methods, other than siphon and AeroPress for the alternative brew. So this is really, really good. It's quite an inexpensive way of brewing, so you can basically just have a couple of equipment and you can start doing this at home. You know, all you need is just a grinder and some really good coffee.
Again, the last stage of pouring. Okay. So it's very easy and it's already done and it's ready to serve within it's around 6 hours. And who else would like to try? Anyone who loves coffee?
Any coffee lovers come up on stage?
Coffee lovers.
Try to take small sips along the way. You know, as this coffee cools, it starts to change. So it gets sweeter and sweeter as it cools down.
Let me heat up the cup. Sorry? Yes. Okay, this is this one.
Even the glass we use is of a particular shape, so to maximize the aroma while you're drinking.
And I'll be giving away a few specialty grade coffee there. Alright, ready to try it? And this one for you. So, alright, so we can see it's done.
Okay, I will continue to talk about my little journey about coffee. I've gone to farm visits to observe all the methods of processing coffee from the farm to the cup. Along the way, it's all about respect. In the coffee world, I think it's a culinary world, I think it's all about respect. Respect the teachers, respect the producers. So for coffee, we have a lot of respect going back to the farmer himself. These days, the farmer has put a lot of effort compared to years ago, where they couldn't get a good price for the coffee. So these days, they engage people like Q Grader. I myself am a Q Grader. I do great coffee for farms, I do great coffee for companies. They engage a Q Grader to basically assess the quality of the coffee. So by doing that, the farmers will fetch a better price for the coffee while they sell it. So some of the coffee that they produce are now being auctioned, are now in a Cup of Excellence auction. Some coffees are in the Best of Panama auction. So farmers these days are getting better and better price for the quality that they're producing. So the farmer is also part of the artisanal route. So after the farmer, you have the people that buys the coffee. Like us, we are a coffee roaster, so we buy coffee, we assess the coffee first before we buy. And during roasting, it's a very little tedious, very careful, and very sometimes could be frustrating process. Because roasting requires very, very precise time control and temperature control to give a very good end result of coffee before it reaches the barista. Every different stage in the roasting will give a very different end result. The too fast roasting will give a very washed-out coffee that has devour of flavors, is very short of flavors. Too long a roasting, the coffee will end up being baked. Once it's baked, the coffee will taste nothing. It's just flat. You have aromas, but the flavors are just flat. So what we do is we need to have precise control of temperature and time for the roasting. So the final stage of this artisanal route to the coffee is the barista. The barista is the last guy that makes your coffee at the cafe. So his skill is also very important, because without a good barista, you can't bring out the best in coffee. All right? So if you are trying to embark in a journey of coffee, so start with good quality product. Understand what it's about before you go into embarking in a real cafe serving coffee, because it's all about understanding the processes, respecting the people that brings you the coffee right until the point that you're going to serve the customers. These days, what I would like to also stress is that I hope a lot of cafes or restaurants or hoteliers start to pay attention to the coffee, because coffee is really a big part of your F&B journey. Right? You have a restaurant, you can serve the best food, give the best service. If the coffee is bad, it leaves a very bad lasting impression on your customers, because that's the last thing he's going to consume before he leaves the restaurant. So, thank you very much.